think I'm live, I'm not sure. Okay, I think I'm live, although I don't know with this new algorithms with Facebook. I have no idea if someone is here and can hear me and can see me. Say hi. So I wanted to just kind of create this video with you and connect with consciousness. So as a spiritual teacher and somebody who is a spiritual scientist who likes to incorporate the science and the spiritual, so I wanted to kind of help everybody connect with that part of them that has all the answers. So when we connect with that divine part of us, that source within us, then we're connecting with our inner knowing and our inner knowledge. Hi, Torkin, thank you. I'm glad you can see me and hear me. I think Facebook have put some sort of weird algorithm with it now, so I can't really even see myself. Anyway, so basically what I really wanted to do was, and I may do this on a daily basis because I feel that what we really need now with the climate of what's happening, hi Lorraine, what's happening in the world at the moment, what we really need is this unity of consciousness and this unity of coming together. And the more light that we can bring together as a collective, the more we are able to expand this consciousness and expand the remembering of who we are. So when you think about, your outside world and you think about what's going on at the moment, which is very different to what we used to, then it often will bring up some concerns and worries. But often those worries and concerns are not really about us. They're just the feelings and the energies from everybody else. And the fallout, I suppose, of everybody else's fear. So what happens with that is that, Lorraine and I were talking, on Messenger this morning, and she said that, the shelves are all empty. And my experience was that I went to get eggs this morning and 2 supermarkets had none, and it was just a corner shop that had some eggs, which was great. But it just shows I don't have any fear at all about anything really. But what happens is the fallout of everybody else's fear affects everybody. So there is this big kind of affecting experience that's going on, even though we might not actually have any fear ourselves. So some advice might be to not watch the news, or if you feel drawn and you have to watch the news, then really just come into that part of you. We're going to do a process in a moment, but come into that part of you that has a sense of an understanding that this physical body has its own consciousness, that it is just like a jacket, that it doesn't define who you are, that your soul and that consciousness within you has actually so much more power and so much more empowerment than this physical body. Okay, so this physical body is just the jacket that we chose to have this time in this experience. In many other experiences, it could be that we chose a different jacket, but this one is the one that we chose this time. So whenever you are choosing to do something, and it might be to read a newspaper or watch the news or read huge amounts of feeds on Facebook or any other kind of social media platform, really just before you do that, just come into that space, come into that part of you, that real soul part of you, that heart, that love part of you that has all the answers. And then come into that space first, take some breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. In fact, let's just do it now. So take 3 breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. So and really hear the sound of your breath. And then just imagine your star underneath your feet, which is your Earth star, and your soul star above your head. And just imagine a beam of light coming down and joining the two so that you're sitting in that pure beam of light. Okay. Hi, Colette. And just come into that part of you that knows all the answers, and just feel into it. And just expand that light throughout the whole of you. And, ask your higher self, there's a bit of you that can really give you all the answers you need. I'm really not an advocate of telling people what to do. I'm a medium and a channel, and I work with trauma and I help people release trauma and stand on the mission, but I don't tell people what to do. Yeah, it's one of the things that I absolutely am so clear about. Sarah. It really isn't about somebody telling you what you should do. This is a time, so much now more than any other time, for us to come into that place where we actually can remember that we have so much empowerment within us, that we're always protected, we're always looked after, and we just have to remember that. And if you, what the guides are giving me now is to remember times in your life where, and I've had many, if you listen to my podcast, The Spiritual Awakener, you can hear my story, of spiritual awakening. And there are many times where I can look back on my experience of my life, and I can say at that moment in time, I had no idea how things were going to move forward, going to change, whatever it might have been, but they always did, and I was always looked after. And so if you just, really just go into that space where, think about a time in your life where you had no idea, maybe you had no money, maybe you had nobody around you, maybe you lost something or lost someone, and you had no idea how you were going to get through it. You're still here. Maybe you had severe depression at one point, but you're still here. And you've got to remember that the soul part of you actually always knows. And I always believe that, you don't get given something or you don't experience something unless you know that you can handle it. So if you just think about one time, perhaps when you're growing up, or one time recently where you had no idea you would get through it. Hi Chad and Karina. I just invite you to do that as you connect with your heart center. Was there a bit of you that kind of knew it would all be okay? Probably. When I worked with veterans several years ago, completely, I thought by accident. Of course, there's no mistakes in the world, and there's only synchronicities, and there's no kind of coincidences really. And I worked with veterans for quite a long time, and when I worked with them, after a little bit of time in a session, they would say things to me like, I knew that day I was not meant to be the one that was shot. I was not meant to be the one that died. And that comes out when they really connect with that inner part of them. They weren't able to say that at the start of the session, but in the middle or towards the end of a session, they would realize that, oh my goodness, the light bulb was always there, and they always knew that they would be safe, but they didn't know consciously when they were on that battlefield or they were in charge of a team. They didn't know consciously, but they knew on a soul level. So when you can really connect with that part of you that has all the answers, you don't need to look outside of yourself for those answers. There is no holy grail, right? You are the holy grail. And I truly, truly, truly believe that we are here to remember that we can heal ourselves. Okay. So I'm just going to ask the guides what they want to do with this. So bear with me a sec. Okay, yeah, all right. So one of the things that I teach on my groups, on my healing groups, I run a mental group and I run a development mediumship group, and I run all sorts of groups. Actually, I'm a monthly group healing call, which you're very welcome to be part of if you choose to. But one of the things that the guides are giving me here is one of the things that we teach is to come into your own healing sound. Okay. I know, and some people, find it hard to get out of the way of how they might sound, how they might look, and one of the things that I do is I channel galactic light language and healing sounds and tones, and Mother Mary comes in quite often, and the Palladians and the Acturians and all sorts of beings, amazing beings. But one of the things that I teach is for you to heal yourself. So the guides are giving me this little heads up here, and can you hear my budgies in the background? They always get a little bit chatty at the point when the galactics step in and the higher guides step in, and it's because they are part of this energy of helping you heal. So if you feel you want to join in with this, and feel free to join in or not, I want you just to connect with your heart center. And what we're going to do is we're going to set the intention that we're going to find a healing sound that releases fear within the body. Now we have the emotional body, we have the physical body, and we have the light body, the energetic body. And we probably have more bodies than that, but we'll start with those. So we're going to ask for this fear to be released within our physical body. Okay, because when we hold fear within our physical body, then that is how the outside world we can get affected by the outside world. Okay, so I just want you to come into that heart space. The budgies are going mad. You can hear them. And I want you to close your eyes if that's possible for you. And I'm going to start you off. And essentially, I just want you to ask for your very own healing sound to heal any fear that might be within your physical body. So that's held at cellular level. Okay. And just to say that from a science perspective, the brainstem part of our brain is responsible for the fight and flight and the freeze response and our feelings that we can't survive in the world. Okay, so that's what we're kind of working with here. Okay, so just come into your heart space and just breathe into it, and just ask your higher self to give you your healing sound. Okay, so I'll start you off. So go ahead and just allow that sound to come from you and through you. And I can actually feel Mother Mary here with me, coming in, and not in a religious sense, but just in a higher communication sense. And she comes in, quite often she'll come in and heal the suffering child. So maybe there's a little bit of you as a child that would have picked up something along the way. So just receive this, because I feel that she's coming in to help you. So just receive this. Take a deep breath. Okay. So I hope this helped you, just to feel that, remember that your body is an energy, that this physical plane is a reflection of your vibrational set point and your energy, and that you do not need to step into the fear, that you can remember that you have this part of you that has all the answers. And that doesn't mean that anyone has any of the answers for you. You have all the answers. You just need to tap into that part of you that can remember that. Okay. So I'm just going to have a look and see if, feel free just to reach out and tell me anything, and I'll help you if I can. Yeah, so Colette says, totally true. The strength I had out of nowhere when I was really struggling. Yeah, exactly. You know, I remember, and this is on my podcast, episode 1, my story, when I was sitting on my bed and I had 2 babies to look after, and I was on my own, absolutely, you know, this is like 10 years ago, had no idea how I was going to pay the mortgage, no idea how I was going to look after these kids, but I 100% knew that it would be fine. Yeah. And if I can do it, you can do it, right? And it's we absolutely have the strength within us to really survive anything. Yeah. And there will be some people that won't survive this. There are some people that won't survive this. But, you know, it's my feeling that that was all part of the deal, and that was all part of their journey. And, you know, my heart and my love goes out to those people that are feeling unwell at the moment. But just to remember that, you know, perhaps you can share this with them. Perhaps you can share this on your feeds so that people can realize, just even if there's just like a chink of light, to let them know that there's so much more than the physical body, right? And that the physical body holds a consciousness. Okay, so I'm just having a look. Yeah, let's have a look. Chad, it's really good to see you, my love. And Colette and everybody on here. It's really good to see you. Oh, Karina, do you think it's going to get bad before good? So I don't use words as bad and good, but what I do feel is going to happen, and this is just a feeling that I have, a bit of intuition, is that my children go to school and the schools haven't been closed yet. As much as they'd quite like them to be closed, I think they think it's going to be fun not going to school. I feel that by the end of the week, and we have a new moon next week on the 24th, I think by the time that new moon, that wave of that new moon comes in, we will have almost like a peak. And the reason for that, so I'm a naturopath as well. I trained as a naturopath many years ago. And when we're looking at the moon cycles, we're looking at the body trying to release from the cells, you know, stuff that isn't needed in there anymore. So energy and perceptions of belief and unwanted viruses and stuff like that. So it gets released through temperatures, through our body raising, and it also gets released by the moon. So the moon is brilliant at kind of releasing and pushing it out. So we've got a new moon. We've just had a full moon, and we've got a new moon coming up on the 24th. So it's my feeling and my opinion that it's probably going to peak then, and then after that it's going to go down a bit. So I feel like we're almost getting to that point where there's going to be a big peak. And I'm kind of talking about the UK here because we haven't, I mean, London's had a peak, but where I live, it's kind of not there just yet. We've still got the rush of toilet rolls being bought and eggs and stuff, but we haven't got anything where the schools are closed, you know, and the shops are still open and restaurants are still open at the moment. So, and bars and things like that. So we haven't had that yet. So I feel like here it's going to go to a peak then. But I can't, Karina, you know, what is bad and what is good? I think there's a much bigger reason why we're experiencing what we're experiencing. And I think that that's going to be very clear. And I think one of the things is that we have to come into that part of us where we're not looking outside of ourselves for answers, but we're looking within for answers. Okay, so I have to go because I have a client now, but much love to you all. I'm going to try and do a daily video like at the moment. I'm going to try and fit that in to my schedule, and just look out for on Sunday. This Sunday, I've been invited to host a global event, which is free for everybody. So just watch out for a link for that, because I'll be doing some work with everybody on that global event to release the fear and other emotions that are coming up. All right. So much love. Good to see you all here. Oh, Lorraine, thank you. Yeah. So the new moon next week, and then by the full moon it will definitely have changed. Yeah, it will have changed, but if we can come within, then we're going to feel so much better about it. Okay, and please reach out to me, everyone. Okay, all right, lots of love. See you soon. Bye.